anomalies I've noticed in angular trajectory, sound waves. There's a few other things that are pretty strange. Like, okay, there's video of Tyler limping, approaching. You can say, okay, he had a gun stuffed down his legs, but there's no imagery of him holding a rifle or whoever it was running off the roof, we should say, or in the stairwells, leaving campus. There's things about so if he broke down the rifle and put it in his backpack, which we also don't see as he's leaving. Um, how to get reassembled in the woods. They say they followed the person into a residential area. Um, but the biggest thing that I wanted to point out, there's some. I've shot since I was 5 years old. I'm 54. I've owned firearms my whole life, and the sound report is one of the first things we can talk about. The sound report is immediate, and all the microphones up around the stage area that we hear audio from, right? And then you hear the echo, and the echo comes off the building allegedly Tyler was on. And the way that whole area is set up, you have a split second for that echo to travel, but there's no split second. It's immediate sound of gunshot within close proximity to the microphone, right? All right, so after that, the biggest anomaly I'm seeing here is trajectory angles. So if we watch the video of Kirk as he's shot, it's there's a couple of things that come up pretty clearly. One, he's sit on the right side, right here, and it wasn't a glancing blow; it was a penetrating blow, and so 90 degrees to the side when allegedly the shooter was straight ahead and the building was straight ahead. Okay, so and it wasn't a glancing tear on the neck; it was a penetrating blow, which one of the ballistics experts will tell you that pistols put a hole in somebody, rifles go through somebody, and shotguns rip people apart. This did not go through; it just entered his neck, and blood started coming out in the same direction. But so it hit him on the right side of his neck, and he didn't get. So if it had been coming through from the front and hitting him this way, it would have knocked him back. But that didn't happen. He was knocked to the left. Okay, it's pretty obvious that the force was in this direction and not that direction. The next anomaly I noticed that's pretty crazy is there's muzzle wind that ruffles his shirt. If you watch in slow motion, there's as he's struck, there's also muzzle wind. Okay, so ballistics folks will tell us that a bullet can only create wind within an inch or two of its mass moving through space. Think about a truck moving down the highway. Large mass moving along creates a lot of wind, and it'll shake your car and stuff, right? But a bullet's a pretty small mass, and it's also aerodynamically designed to not have air friction, which is what would create air displacement. All the research I've done on this topic says that you got to be less than 10 feet away from the muzzle to have sufficient wind blast to ruffle his shirt. So the narrative that's being presented, that this was a rifle shot directly straight ahead, just doesn't fit the physics of the situation. Again, the first point I made being the crack of the rifle was the crack of the weapon being immediate with an echo off of the building, and I mean immediate in real time with you see his body jerk. Sound takes time to travel a lot more than light does, right? It's just basic physics, and then we hear the echo off the building. And then there was the other, yeah. So he's definitely struck on the right side with force pushing him to the left, and then his shirt ruffling. So anyhow, this is, I believe, what we call a psyop. And we can also look at the, so there's a guy, I think he's wearing a green shirt right to Kirk's right. That would be my prime suspect. But there's two guys standing behind him to the right as well that appear to be making military hand signals. None of them react with any fear or surprise, right? All the people in front run, scream, which brings me to the point allegedly Trump was shot in the ear. Not a single person got up and ran away that day. And there's plenty of video of actual assassinations and assassination attempts where people freak the fuck out, not jump up for photo ops. Anyhow. So yeah, I'll run through that again for all you just hopped on. The first point that I'm making here is the sound report echoed off the building. It didn't come from the building. It was immediate at the circle of microphones right at the stage. And the biggest point, though, is that Kirk was obviously struck with direct shot to the side of his neck, which pushed him to the left from the right. Right, and then the third thing being the shirt fluffling. You can only see this in super slow motion, right? And I didn't go do all the research. I've just been watching videos of stuff and watching all the hate come out about and people claiming that this dude wasn't a passive aggressive, stochastic terrorist. It's pretty fucking mind-boggling. Claiming he wasn't a racist. Like, you know, the Nazis claimed to be good Christians also. I'll just put that out there. They also were pretty good at using sacrificial martyrs. And anyhow, bonkers. I don't know what said hi means, except for somebody's trying to seek attention. Do you have anything pertinent to the conversation? It'd be awesome. Doesn't look like I'm going to get any engagement, so I'll just leave those little bits of information out there for whoever comes across it to contemplate, ponder, and think about the larger consequences of the action that took place and what's going on right now. We're about to have gun rights stripped away. We definitely have free speech has been removed at this point. And yeah, we're basically living in a fascist police state. I mean, it's been pretty bad my whole life, but we're done as a free nation at this point. Reap what you sow. I'm going to go plant some seeds, grow some weed, and smoke it. That's my First Amendment, right?